They used to whisper warnings through the coral reefs, stories passed from mother to daughter, through bubbling lullabies and fractured shells. Stories about the surface, its glittering sky, its warmth, and the promises it never kept. And the name Zarethia, the sea witch. Once, they said, she was like them, a daughter of the waves. But she traded something sacred for something vile. And now she waits, somewhere in the graveyard of drowned things, granting cursed wishes to those too foolish to heed the sea's old songs. Marella was one of those daughters. The youngest child of King Theros, she was born with a pearl-shaped birthmark over her heart, a mark, the elders believed, of longing. While her sisters danced in the currents and sang beneath moonlit tides, Marella watched the surface, staring through the veil where the water shimmered thin and the land beyond burned golden. And she saw him, Aaron, prince of the cliffside realm of Estrain. He would walk alone along the jagged ridges, hair dancing in the sea wind, eyes cast toward the water as if listening for something he could not name. Marella watched, breathless. One night, a storm shattered his ship against the rocks. She dove through lightning and froth, dragging him to shore, singing as his eyes fluttered open, just for a second, long enough for her to fall in love with the way he looked at her, not with fear, but with awe. That look stayed with her. And so, she swam to Zarethia. The sea witch lived in a place where light refused to follow. Her lair was built from shipwrecks and skeletons, her hair long as seaweed and eyes empty as barnacle shells. "I want to walk beside him," Marella said. "I want to live in his world." Zarethia tilted her head, her face not unkind, just unreadable. They all say that. Her voice flowed like black ink through water. "Very well, I will give you legs, but you'll leave your voice behind, and your time will be brief." Marella hesitated. "You'll have 1 week," Zarethia continued. 7 days to love, to live, to learn. But once your time ends, if you've not found a way to anchor yourself, you'll dry up, dust and salt on the wind. "And you," Marella asked softly, "why help us?" Zarethia smiled, a dark glint in her eyes. "Every wish has its weight, and some weights shift the world." Marella shivered, but the pain came rushing in before she could ask more. Her scream was soundless as her tail split in two, and she awoke on the beach beneath the prince's castle, bleeding, trembling, and entirely human. Aaron found her. Mute and shivering, her presence struck something inside him. He brought her into his father's stone halls, wrapped her in blankets, and called her his sea angel. Despite the silence, they understood one another. Aaron read to her by firelight. Marella touched the words, her eyes bright with wonder. Her pain was constant. Walking was like stepping on shattered glass, but she never let it show. And then came the 6th night. King Corvin, Aaron's father, summoned her privately. His eyes were shadowed and hard, his voice like iron dragged across ice. "We know what you are." Marella froze. He gestured her to sit. "You're not the first," he said. "Your kind have come before, seeking love, leaving only salt behind." Then softly, "But we have a plan." He told her about Zarethia, how she was once a mermaid queen who cursed the ocean for denying her love, how she siphoned the sea's magic through foolish daughters who came to her willingly, how she had almost become fully human. "She cannot be allowed to walk our shores," the king said, "but you can stop her." He offered her a spell, a binding of earth and sky. It would return her tail. Let her swim once more. Let her kill Zarethia. "And if I do," Marella mouthed, though her voice was gone. "Then you will marry my son," he said. "You will be queen of both sea and land." The water welcomed her like a cradle, her tail restored with searing agony. Zarethia awaited her in the ruins of her lair. "Ah," the witch said. "Of course! They promised you love in return, didn't they?" Marella did not speak. Could not. Zarethia's expression flickered with something ancient. "I once believed in love too. He told me he'd wait for me. But the land is cruel. He wed another. My people banished me. So I waited here, growing, transforming. I never wanted to destroy the sea," she whispered. "I only wanted to belong somewhere." Marella hesitated, just long enough to see the child Zarethia had once been. Then she plunged the coral blade into her heart. Zarethia's body collapsed into salt. Her final breath was not a curse, but a sigh. The wedding was grand. Aaron kissed her beneath banners of gold. Marella wore a gown of silk and pearls. Laughter echoed across the cliffs. She could not believe her joy. Until the night after the feast. King Corvan summoned her once more. "You've done well," he said, "but there is more." Marella blinked. "Our power, what little magic we have left, won't sustain your human form forever. Each week you must bring us another mermaid, one more to walk the land, another spark for our dying flames." She paled. "Refuse," he said, "and you turn to dust." "But," she began. "There is another way," he said smoothly. "Kill your father, take his crown, then you will never need us again." Marella wept that night beside Aaron, his arms around her as she stared at the moon. Her belly stirred. Aaron's child was growing inside her. She could not risk leaving them. She could not fade. King Theros met her with joy. His youngest daughter returned from the depths. He offered no judgment, only love. He did not see the blade in her hand. He told her of the sea's mourning, of the mermaids vanishing, of the currents turning red. He begged her to help stop whatever darkness had awakened, and she plunged the blade into his chest. He didn't fight. His final look was not anger, but sorrow. The crown shattered. Its fragments dissolved into the sea, and the sea screamed. They came in ships carrying fire and net. King Corvan, Prince Aaron, they called it a cleansing. With the Sea King and Zarethia gone, there was no magic left to protect the mermaids. Marella watched from the cliffs as her sisters were dragged ashore, limbs broken, voices torn from them as they were slaughtered beneath banners bearing her husband's crest. She screamed, but no sound came. She was with child. She had done everything to protect this life. And still, she walked into the ocean. They say she returned to salt, that the sea took her gently, without pain, that her soul now drifts beneath the waves, whispering in the ears of foolish daughters who dare to dream of love. Sometimes on quiet shores you can hear her weeping. And sometimes, if the tide is just right, the sea claims a girl who stares too long at the land. Because the ocean remembers, and the sea always comes to collect.
Thank you for joining us in the world of Twilight Fables. If you enjoyed this tale and want to hear more stories like this, please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more.